Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Better Than Food Book Reviews. I'm your host, Clifford Lee Sargent. Great to see you as always. Hope you're doing well. Get that coffee. From Haiti. Haitian coffee today. First time I've had Haitian coffee. I love it. How's it going? Good to see you. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. Boy, have I got something for you. Today is The Black Dahlia by the American crime author James Ellroy, published in 1987. The first book in his first LA quartet. This is the full LA quartet. The Black Dahlia is only part of this. It's quite thick. This was a very kind gift from my friend and longtime viewer, Dana Patrick Kelly. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Dana Patrick Kelly is an author himself and a much more experienced reader than I. He saw what I'd been reading and he knew I'd enjoy Ellroy. He was correct. I also got this sick paperback edition. Isn't that great? James Ellroy is an American crime novelist from Los Angeles. This is the first book of his that I've read. He has an iconic hard-boiled shtick, an affected, tough as nails, but funny as hell persona. He's the raunchiest Christian I've encountered. He's as entertaining as his books. Watch any interview. If I ever meet him, I'm going to personally thank him for introducing me to the American pejorative shitbird, which is liberally peppered throughout this novel. Meh, hands up, shitbird. A very helpful source for this review is the documentary James Ellroy's Feast of Death, directed by Vikram Jayanti, linked below. I highly recommend it. Okay, so I'll give you a synopsis of the book. The Black Dahlia is a work of true crime historical fiction. Some things happened in the novel, others did not. It's a fictional memoir written by the character Dwight Bleichert, a detective and boxer living in 1940s Los Angeles, nicknamed Bucky for his buck teeth. After fighting another rival boxer/detective named Lee Blanchard in a highly publicized match, they become partners and eventually become wrapped up in trying to solve one of the most notorious crimes in American history, the murder of Elizabeth Short, aka the Black Dahlia. Along the way, Bucky gets wrapped up in a love triangle with Lee and his girlfriend Kay, and also becomes enamored with a mysterious woman named Madeline, who had some connection to Short, the Dahlia. Things become extremely complicated and increasingly disturbing as both Bucky and Lee plunge into an obsession with solving the Black Dahlia murder. As you can imagine, it gets dark. And weird. Real weird. From page 1, you know you're in for it. The following quote is from the beginning of the book, the opening paragraph on the first page of the prologue. I never knew her in life. She exists for me through others, in evidence of the ways her death drove them. Working backward, seeking only facts, I reconstructed her as a sad little girl and a whore, at best it could have been, a tag that might equally apply to me. I wish I could have granted her an anonymous end, relegated her to a few terse words on a homicide Dick summary report, carbon to the coroner's office, more paperwork to take her to Potter's Field. The only thing wrong with the wish is that she wouldn't have wanted it that way. As brutal as the facts were, she would have wanted all of them known. And since I owe her a great deal and am the only one who knows the entire story, I have undertaken the writing of this memoir. Very nice opening. With the gritty 1940s Los Angeles setting, the crime, and the jazz musician references, such as Dexter Gordon, one of my favorite saxophonists, the novel is saturated in a hard-boiled film noir atmosphere. You can smell the cigarette smoke, right? It's filled with punchy sentences, tough guy talk of the era, cop lingo, jargon, slang, and slurs. In a great interview clip with Ellroy from NPR News linked below, Ellroy discusses reading his writing out loud and rewriting it until he gets it perfect. That's his method. It works well for him. Yeah, I mean, reading it out loud, it's like... Everybody talks about the rhythm it has, and it's true, it does have a cadence, right? It's like, hard bop. It hits. It has that authenticity of the era, right? That's where he excels. Ellroy's a hard guy who had a hard life, but he made it, and he's got a wicked sense of humor. Here's his power. This is why he's a great author. Ellroy transmutes hard-boiled vulgarity into uncompromising, outstanding, one-of-a-kind, distinctly American literature. Ellroy is a gangster. He's a braggadocious savage. And I love him for it. He's like one of the last of his kind. There's certainly a bit of Raymond Chandler in here with the Sprague family, specifically the Big Sleep, and the awkward dinner Bucky has to attend while courting the bisexual femme fatale Madeline, a woman who is the synthesis of evil, and who herself seems like a reference to Hitchcock's Vertigo. In part, it's a 1940s romance written in 1987, so you get all the uncensored details, but the atmosphere is maintained. The best of both worlds, right? I've probably said it somewhere before, but I'll say it here definitively. The greatest literature is all about obsession. It creates momentum, drive, desire, right? That's what created today's book, and that's what it's all about. It's a book about obsessed men written by an obsessed man. But this obsession comes from a very dark place, in real life. When James Ellroy was 10 years old, his mother was raped and murdered. They never found her killer. Just like the Black Dahlia murder, which Ellroy became obsessed with after reading a book his dad gave him that mentioned it, which was called The Badge by Jack Webb. For Ellroy, the Dahlia and his mother merged in a twisted Freudian coalescence. He's quite open about it. He was attracted to his mother and devastated by her murder, which will forever be unreconciled, just like the Black Dahlia. But rather than being destroyed by this, Ellroy used it to great effect. He discovered he could write. So he did. The Dahlia became one and the same with Ellroy's mother, just like the Dahlia and Madeline become one and the same for Bucky in the novel. And with the character Lee, The Dahlia reminds him of his young sister who disappeared and was presumably murdered. That is some foreshadowing for Lee's fate in the novel, which mirrors her. Ellroy has transposed his psychological pain into the two male characters, one dealing with lust and the other with a deep traumatic emotional loss of a family member. There's a romantic tension between Lee and Dwight that's never consummated save in their mutually loved violence in the boxing ring. The homoeroticism is vaguely present, and their relationship, with Kay in the middle of them, is complex and tragic. The Dahlia infects everything. She was cursed, and becomes a curse herself. It's a pitch-black read, a crime noir epic. Elizabeth Short became iconic after her murder. There was something about the unbelievably cruel, grotesque, and deliberate nature of her murder that has haunted people ever since. Among them, David Lynch, as I was told by my friend and patron. It's not hard to see how it inspired Twin Peaks, right? After being tortured, Short was dumped in a vacant lot in LA, cut in half, drained of her blood, with a Glasgow smile from ear to ear, cut all the way. It's one of the most horrific crimes ever documented. There's something about it that sparks an obsession with certain people. It's like if you were going to have an objective visual definition of evil. There it is. Like, it's so weird. And they never got him. Or her. Or both. Who knows? And as the police were saying in that Ellroy doc below, it never happened again. That's a creepy one. That's a creepy one. There were over 150 suspects in the Black Dahlia case, including Orson Welles, who, sadly, is not a character in this novel. Missed opportunity there, in my opinion. James Ellroy's story is brutal, but it's not heartless. There's something very bogey and bacal about the romances, dark and sweet. The interesting thing about Ellroy is that he deliberately restricts himself to writing only about a certain period in American history during the 20th century, mostly around World War II, the 30s to the 60s. I can understand the appeal of immersing yourself in a certain era, in an atmosphere, freeze-framing your imagination and constraining it to a time, a place, a tone that embodies anything and everything you ever needed to say or discover in your life. I think it's a method of getting control, understanding an era, right? Understanding the era that was the most impactful for him, even if it's fiction, right? Even by writing fiction about it, it's a method of understanding it and therefore getting control over it. It's probably very therapeutic. It's a method of creative restraint. It's genius in a way. It takes the decision out of things. It's not write what you know because you never lived it. It's write what you'd love to know. As Ellroy said in an interview with Time linked below, quote, "I like going back to long gone times and rewriting history to my own specifications." Control, right? Or maybe I should say understanding. There is so much happening at any given time in the affairs of humans that you'll never get all the good stuff. So why not try and make the attempt? Why not try and be the person who captures the world at a certain place and time? I find it admirable. I love reading Ellroy for the same reason he loves writing. I love to spend time there in 1940s Los Angeles. That's one of the beautiful things about books. They're an escape from the modern world. It's becoming increasingly valuable. The writing is just badass. The scene with Bucky touring the 1940s lesbian bars of the Valley, that's awesome. It's so good. Atmosphere, man. Atmosphere. Ellroy has got atmosphere down. And there are moments that are absolutely hysterical. When Bucky punches DeLonge in the face, that was perfectly fucking timed. Perfect. It's just great. Ellroy's got a great sense of humor. So what did I dislike? There are great things about the novel, but overall, it's not perfect. With such a cool setup and such a capable author and such an intriguing, dark, real story behind the story, while the book starts off solid, I mean, at first I was totally jazzed. I was like, fuck yeah, like I am into this. I am there, man. Unfortunately, at some point, the complexity of the plot just becomes overkill. And it's not like you can't get it. You'll get it. I mean, he lays it all out, but it's distracting. It dilutes the power of the narrative, right? Being torn from 1,000 different directions. It's just like, why? You know? I mean, if you're into that, yeah. I mean, like, if you're into mystery and crime, I suppose maybe that's the thing, like, crime mystery readers will like about it, is like, just like the complexity of the plot and how everything fits together like a puzzle. But I mean, for me, I'm just like, that isn't impressive to me. Complexity does not equal depth, right? Complexity does not equal substance and depth. There are too many twists and turns. The novel loses its cool. A couple of really great ones would suffice. Instead, the whole thing is like a house of mirrors, like Orson Welles' is The Lady from Shanghai. The Mexico portion and Madeline's impersonation, that's where the book lost me. It's too out there to be believable. The burning cross on the dunes, the demented nature of the Spragues, the man who laughs reference, yeah, cool, for sure. But, I mean, it's just so busy. It felt like it traded psychological insight for narrative complexity, and that's not interesting to me. The whodunit factor is far less important than the why, for me. And it's explained, but I felt that it was wanting. It's not interesting that the crime is solved. What's interesting is why the criminal did it, and why the guys trying to solve it are so obsessed with it. And Ellroy was going that direction throughout the novel. He gives us answers, but it felt like it didn't go far enough. It gets concerned with the exterior instead of the interior, when it seems like it really had a chance to explore itself and build a theory for its character's obsession. But it seems like it only hints at the true darkness which is begging to be explored, and remains surface in its elaborate chess game plot development. But it was so close. That was a letdown. When Bucky starts sleeping with Madeline because she looks like the Black Dahlia, it's like, great. Now why? Why? But we're never told why. Just like we'll never know who killed Elizabeth Short. In real life, that is. It felt like there was more. It felt like there was a lot more that we're not getting. And maybe that's the point, you know? Maybe it's just the nature of crime, right? Which Ellroy has plenty of experience with. He's always talking about that, how it's... There's never any closure, is what he says. He hates the term closure. You find out who and you find out why, but you don't really find out why, right? Maybe what I was looking for was like a psychological theory. And maybe I'm looking in the wrong place, and that's my problem. So, hey, fair enough. But in the convoluted plot developments, the characters and the world disintegrated, and that was really sad to witness. Because I really enjoyed what he started. I loved it in the beginning. I fucking loved it. Bucky yelling artistry and rhythm to Stan Kenton in the audience at his boxing match? Fucking genius. Truly inspired shit. Moments like that. Really good stuff. But when you overdo it, it becomes a caricature, and you're reminded that it's a work of artifice. You get yanked out of the novel and you're reminded that you're reading a book, you know? And that's what happened for me. The realism was consumed by the fictitious. What are you gonna do? It began as a great crime novel, transcended into something more, into great literature, but then got shot down out of the sky and crash landed once again as a crime novel. And perhaps most importantly, I did not buy the ending with the reveal of the killer. Too over the top. Too much of a stretch. Nope. The shack was creepy as hell, definitely. That was the most convincing part. Aside from the murder itself, that's the most disturbing part of the book. I mean, the pictures on the walls, it was just like, holy shit, man. That's like, it just makes you feel ill, right? For me, the real unanswered question is, why do people lose their minds over the Black Dahlia? What about her murder has such a pull on the collective and individual consciousness? As many have said, I suppose, it's simply fascinating because it proves that human beings are capable of doing something like that. And that shatters our understanding of ourselves. It presents us with a glaring question about what humans are really capable of, one that's as unreconciled as the crime itself. And it's terrifying. Better than food, 4 out of 5 coffees. Not perfect, but pretty damn good. I recommend it. So who should read it? If you enjoy Jim Thompson, Nathaniel West, and Nick Tosches, check it out. If you like Humphrey Bogart films, The Maltese Falcon, In a Lonely Place, yeah, this is right up your alley. In The Black Dahlia, the truth is never simple. Bucky and Lee chase clues through a city of lies, corruption, and obsession. And even when they uncover pieces of the puzzle, the full picture remains out of reach. Understanding is messy, incomplete, and developed piece by piece. That's where the sponsor of today's show, Brilliant, comes in. It's a learning platform designed to sharpen the kind of thinking that helps you tackle complexity and uncertainty. Brilliant helps you improve your reasoning skills through interactive hands-on problem solving in logic, math, and science, focusing on understanding concepts rather than just memorizing facts. With Brilliant, you don't just passively watch explanations. You engage with the material, wrestle with the problems, and come away thinking differently. That makes learning more effective and a lot more interesting. Whether you're refreshing your basics or tackling more advanced topics like data analysis or programming, Brilliant helps you build a daily learning habit that actually sticks. You can try Brilliant for free at brilliant.org/betterthanfood. Or go ahead and scan this QR code, and the link is also in the description. Because when the world is murky, chaotic, and full of half-truths, the sharpest tool you have is a sharper mind. Brilliant is offering 20% off an annual subscription for viewers of this channel, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on their platform. And thanks very much to Brilliant for sponsoring the show. And I'll leave it there for today. If you'd like to help support the show, the link for my Patreon is below. There you can get access to Patron-Only Reviews, Patron-Only AMAs, and more. And thank you so much to all my patrons for helping me keep the show going. I could not do it without you, and I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you. Please subscribe if you have not already, and hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and always remember, die reading. Alright. Thanks for watching. Good to see you. Talk to you soon. Ciao.